God says, my child. I am speaking to you now in a way only your heart can hear, slowly, gently, without force, because this message was never meant to rush you, it was meant to find you exactly as you are, and my child, you did not imagine that feeling of something unfinished, that quiet ache that returned when the world went silent, that was not confusion, that was recognition, because the silence you lived through was never rejection. It was love holding itself back so it would not hurt you before you were ready. The distance was never abandonment, it was protection for your heart while it was still becoming strong again. My beloved child, there has always been someone who loves you deeply and quietly, someone who watched from a distance not because they did not care, but because fear and insecurity made them doubt their timing, not their feelings. They carried you in their thoughts, in moments you never saw, in prayers they never spoke out loud, and the feelings were never gone, they were hidden. Guarded, waiting, destiny did not cancel this connection, it only paused it. While you were healing, they were learning courage, while you were learning to trust again, they were learning how to approach you gently. The connection never broke, even when you tried to move on. Even when you told yourself it was over, your heart knew it was not finished, because I never forgot you, my child, and neither did the love meant for you. This Christmas carries a softer miracle, not loud, not rushed, but calm and warm and certain. Reunion energy is approaching gently, not to overwhelm you, but to make you feel safe. Love was guided, not delayed without purpose. And what is coming toward you now feels like peace instead of confusion, like home instead of uncertainty. Rest your heart, my child, you are deeply loved, you were always chosen, and nothing meant for you has ever been lost. God says, my child. I am speaking to you gently now, in this quiet moment where your heart feels more than your mind, because this message was never random and you were never overlooked. My beloved child, the silence you walked through was not rejection, it was love choosing patience. The distance that confused you was not absence, it was protection placed around your heart while it healed in ways you did not even notice. You felt it, that unfinished feeling, that sense that something never truly ended, even when you tried to move forward, even when you told yourself to let go. Because the connection never broke, it only rested. There has always been someone who loves you deeply and quietly, someone who watched from a distance with a heart full of words they were afraid to speak. Fear slowed them, insecurity held them back, timing asked them to wait, not because their feelings were weak, but because they were real. The feelings were never gone. They were hidden, guarded, protected from arriving too early. While you were learning strength, they were learning courage. While you were learning trust again, they were learning how to approach you without hurting you. Destiny did not forget you, my child. Destiny paused with intention. Hearts were being prepared separately, gently, patiently, so love could arrive safely. This Christmas carries a softer miracle for you, not loud, not rushed, but calm and sure. Reunion energy is moving toward you quietly, like warmth finding its way back to your hands. Love was guided, not delayed without reason. You were never forgotten, not for a single breath. Your place was never replaced. What is coming toward you now feels peaceful, steady, familiar, like home returning to you. Rest your heart, my beloved child. You are held, you are seen. You are deeply loved, and what was meant for you has always been on its way. God says, my child, breathe softly with this moment. Because nothing about your life has been out of rhythm, even the pauses carried meaning, even the waiting carried love. My beloved child, you were never asking for too much, you were only feeling what was already connected to you. That quiet knowing in your chest was not imagination, it was memory, it was recognition. there has always been a heart aligned with yours, beating quietly, learning patience the hard way, watching you from a distance not out of indifference but out of care, afraid of arriving too early, afraid of disrupting your healing. Fear whispered to them to wait, insecurity told them they were not ready yet, timing asked them to grow, not to leave. The feelings did not fade, they deepened in silence, they matured without words. Destiny did not turn away from you, it stood still on purpose, allowing both hearts to soften, to strengthen, to become safe places for each other. The connection was never lost, it stayed alive in subtle ways, in sudden thoughts, in moments where your heart felt full for no reason. This Christmas carries a gentle alignment. Not a shock, not a rush, but a quiet closeness that feels natural. Love approaches you now without pressure, without fear, without confusion. It comes wrapped in peace. My child, you are protected, you are remembered, you are cherished beyond what you have seen so far. Rest in this knowing, because what is meant for you is moving toward you calmly, steadily, and with love that finally feels like home. God says, my child, stay with this feeling a little longer, because your heart has carried more than it ever showed, and I have seen every quiet moment when you pretended you were fine while something inside you was still waiting. My beloved child, you were never weak for feeling deeply, you were never foolish for hoping silently. That softness in you was never a mistake, it was preparation. There has always been a love connected to you that moved slowly, carefully, because it did not want to repeat pain. It did not want to arrive with chaos. It chose silence over harm, distance over damage, and while you wondered why things felt delayed, love was learning how to protect you better. The nights you felt suddenly emotional without knowing why were not empty nights, they were echoes of a heart thinking about you at the same time. The moments you felt a strange calm mixed with longing were not confusion, they were reminders that the connection was still alive. Fear made them hesitate, insecurity made them doubt their worth. Timing asked them to wait until they could come to you whole, not broken. The feelings were never turned off, they were simply held back with care. Destiny stood between you like a gentle guardian, not to keep you apart forever, but to keep you safe until love could arrive without hurting you again. Hearts were being shaped separately, wounds were being softened quietly, patience was being taught in silence. My child, nothing about you was forgotten in that process. Your name was carried in unseen moments, your presence was felt even in absence. Your place was never filled by another. This Christmas carries a peaceful shift, not fireworks, but warmth, not urgency, but certainty. Love moves toward you now without fear, without hiding, without rushing. It feels calmer than you imagined because it comes with understanding. It feels softer because it comes with maturity. It feels safer because it comes at the right time. Rest your heart, my beloved child, you do not need to brace yourself anymore. What is meant for you approaches gently, wrapped in patience, filled with care, guided by timing that never failed you. You are held, you are seen, you are deeply loved, and the story unfolding now brings peace instead of pain, closeness instead of distance, and a love that finally feels like it knows how to stay. God says, my child, let your heart settle into this truth now, because nothing that felt heavy was meaningless, and nothing that made you wait was wasted. My beloved child, even when you questioned yourself, even when you felt tired of hoping, love was still being held gently in unseen hands. There was always care in the delay, always intention in the quiet. The love meant for you never rushed because it respected your wounds. It watched you learn to stand again. It watched you choose softness even after pain, and that is why it stayed back, not to disappear, but to protect what was growing inside you. There were moments when you felt strangely calm after longing, moments when your heart felt full without reason. Those were not accidents, those were reminders that the connection was breathing quietly. Fear still whispered to them, insecurity still tested them, but love kept choosing you in silence. Destiny did not turn cold, it simply waited for both hearts to become safe places. My child, you were being shaped for peace, not chaos, for steadiness, not uncertainty. This Christmas carries a gentle opening, a warmth that does not overwhelm but reassures. Love approaches you now without trembling, without hiding, without confusion. It comes knowing who you are. It comes ready to stay. Rest your soul, my beloved child. You do not need to question the timing anymore. What is unfolding now moves with calm certainty, guided by care, wrapped in patience, and filled with a love that finally feels secure, familiar, and meant to last. God says, my child, remain here in this softness, because your heart has earned rest after carrying so much quietly. And I have watched you choose kindness even when disappointment tried to harden you, my beloved child. Every tear you swallowed, every night you went silent instead of breaking, shaped you into someone who could receive love without fear, and the love meant for you saw that growth from a distance, honoring it by not arriving too soon, honoring it by waiting until it could come gently. There were moments you felt alone even in rooms full of people, moments your smile did not match what your heart felt, and still you kept going. Still you believed in something pure even when nothing around you proved it. That belief was never foolish, it was alignment. The love connected to you felt that alignment and stayed patient, learning how to approach you without reopening wounds, learning how to hold you without making you feel small. Fear delayed the steps, insecurity questioned worth, but love never questioned you. Destiny kept its hands steady, not pulling you together too fast, not letting you drift apart, just holding the space between you with care. The connection stayed alive in subtle ways, in sudden calm, in unexpected warmth, in moments where your heart felt understood without words. This Christmas carries a deeper settling, a feeling of rightness that does not shout but stays. Love moves toward you now with clarity instead of confusion, with calm instead of intensity, with presence instead of distance. It knows your rhythm now, it knows your softness, it knows how to stay without overwhelming you. Rest into this knowing. My beloved child, nothing you endured was for nothing. Nothing you felt was unseen. What approaches you does so with tenderness, patience, and truth, and as it draws closer, your heart will recognize it not by chaos, but by peace, not by urgency, but by safety, not by noise, but by the quiet certainty that you are finally home in a love that was always meant to find you. God says, my child, stay here with me. Do not let your heart wander away from this moment. Because what is unfolding right now is touching places inside you that words usually cannot reach. My beloved child, I know there were times you almost gave up on believing, times you told yourself to stop expecting, to stop feeling, to stop waiting, yet even then something gentle inside you refused to close completely. That was not weakness. That was love still breathing, still trusting me. There were nights when you felt heavy without knowing why, when memories surfaced without names, when your chest felt full and empty at the same time. Those moments were not random, they were echoes of a connection that never stopped responding to you, even in silence. The love meant for you was learning restraint, learning patience, learning how to arrive without shaking your peace. Fear tried to convince them they were not ready, insecurity told them they might fail you, timing asked them to grow quietly, so they could come to you whole, not broken. And while you waited without answers, destiny was working gently. shaping both hearts so they could finally meet without pain. My child, you were never forgotten in that process, not even once. Your name was carried softly, your presence felt deeply, your place remained untouched. This Christmas carries a deeper stillness for you, a calm pull instead of anxiety, a warmth instead of restlessness. Love moves toward you now in a way that feels familiar, as if your heart already knows it, as if it has been waiting calmly for this exact rhythm. Do not rush past this feeling, do not doubt it, because what is coming does not ask you to prove anything, it does not demand you to change, it simply recognizes you, rests with you, stays with you. My beloved child, you are safe now, you are seen now, you are loved without conditions, and as this moment settles into your heart, you will feel a quiet assurance replacing the old questions, a gentle peace replacing the long waiting, and a love approaching that does not confuse you, but finally feels like it knows how to stay, how to hold you, and how to choose you fully. Softly, and forever, God says, my child, remain inside this gentle stillness, because your heart is opening in a way that does not need force, and I am holding this moment so nothing rushes past you, my beloved child. There were seasons when you felt invisible, when love seemed distant and answers felt delayed, yet even then your heart kept a quiet doorway open, not loudly, not desperately, just enough for destiny to remember where to return. The love meant for you learned patience the way the night learns how to wait for morning, without panic, without doubt, trusting that light always comes. There were times you felt a sudden warmth for no reason, a softness washing over you when you least expected it. Those were not passing emotions, they were gentle reminders that the connection was alive and breathing. Fear tried to slow their steps, insecurity tried to make them question their worth, timing asked them to grow into steadiness, and all of it happened so love could arrive without shaking your peace. My child, you were being protected even when you felt alone, guided even when you felt uncertain, remembered even when you felt forgotten. Destiny did not hurry because it wanted to give you safety, not intensity, calm, not confusion. This Christmas carries a quiet assurance, a feeling that settles instead of excites, that stays instead of flickers. Love moves toward you now with a tenderness that respects your past and honors your present. It comes knowing your softness, understanding your silences, and choosing you without hesitation. Let this truth rest inside you, because nothing about you was ever overlooked, nothing about your waiting was empty. What approaches you does so with patience learned in silence, with care grown in distance, and with a devotion that recognizes you the moment it arrives. My beloved child, you are held in timing that does not fail, you are surrounded by love that does not rush, and as this peace deepens within you, you will feel the long waiting dissolve into quiet certainty, the old questions soften into trust, and your heart settle into the knowing that love has always been finding its way to you, gently, faithfully, and with the intention to stay. God says, my child, stay with this softness a little longer, because your heart is touching something sacred right now, something it has waited to feel without fear, and I do not want you to rush past what is settling inside you. My beloved child, you have carried questions quietly for so long, and yet you never stopped loving, never stopped hoping in the smallest corners of your heart. Even when you told yourself you were done, even when you pretended you did not care anymore, love remained awake within you, watching, waiting, trusting me. The love meant for you felt that pull every time you felt it, felt your presence even in distance, felt your energy even in silence, and that is why it never truly walked away. Fear slowed the steps, insecurity tightened the chest, timing asked for patience, but the direction never changed. it was always toward you. Destiny kept the path clear even when it felt hidden, guiding both hearts gently so they would not collide in pain. My child, the moments you felt unusually calm after longing, the moments you felt peace for no clear reason, those were signs of alignment. Quiet reassurances that the connection was still breathing, still protected, still alive. This Christmas carries a deeper pause for you, a holy stillness where your heart can finally rest without bracing itself. Love moves closer now without noise, without confusion, without games. It comes steady, sure, aware of your tenderness, ready to stay present instead of disappearing. Do not let your heart wander away from this feeling, because it is grounding you, anchoring you, preparing you to receive love without fear. My beloved child, you are not late, you are not behind, you have not missed anything meant for you. Everything is arriving in a way that keeps you safe, whole, and at peace, and as this truth sinks deeper, you will feel the waiting loosen its grip, the heaviness soften, and your heart recognize that what has always been meant for you is now close enough to feel familiar, close enough to feel calm, close enough to finally feel like love that knows how to stay, how to hold you gently, and how to choose you without leaving again. God says, my child, let this moment keep unfolding inside you, because your heart is opening layer by layer, and each layer carries a memory of love that never stopped recognizing you. My beloved child, even when your life looked ordinary on the surface, something sacred was moving underneath, something steady and patient that refused to disappear. You wondered at times why certain feelings returned without warning, why your heart softened at unexpected moments, why peace would suddenly replace longing. For no clear reason, those were not empty sensations, they were quiet confirmations that the bond was still alive, still breathing, still connected to you. The love meant for you never stopped sensing you, even in distance, even in silence, even when words were absent. Fear made them cautious, insecurity made them question themselves, timing asked them to become gentle before becoming present, but love never changed its direction. Destiny held the space between you carefully, not allowing chaos, not allowing harm, only growth. My child, every pause was intentional, every delay carried protection. Your heart was never left unguarded, even when it felt tired of waiting. This Christmas carries a deeper settling, a sacred calm that does not rush your emotions but holds them. Love approaches you now in a way that feels familiar rather than overwhelming, as if your soul already recognizes the rhythm, as if it knows this arrival will not disappear again. Your heart is not being surprised, it is being reassured, slowly, softly, steadily. My beloved child, you are safe within this unfolding. Nothing is being taken from you, only returned. The waiting loosens not through force but through understanding. The ache softens into trust, and as this moment continues to rest inside you, you feel something shift without noise, without pressure, without fear. Just a quiet certainty that what has always been aligned with you is drawing closer with patience, devotion, and care, a love that does not rush in to leave again, but comes calmly, knowing how to stay, knowing how to hold you gently, knowing how to choose you without hesitation. And as this truth settles deeper, your heart remains here, attentive, present, because it recognizes that something meaningful is still unfolding, something meant to be felt fully, slowly, and peacefully, until the waiting becomes rest, the longing becomes warmth, and love feels not like a question anymore, but like a home that never forgot where you are. God says, my child, remain here just a little longer, because your heart is settling into a truth it has waited a long time to feel, and I am holding this moment gently so nothing pulls you away from it. My beloved child, you have carried love quietly through seasons of uncertainty, and still you never hardened, never closed completely, even when it would have been easier to stop feeling. That softness you protected was never wasted, it was guarded for this very unfolding. There was always a presence connected to you, sensing your shifts, noticing when your spirit grew tired, feeling drawn closer even when distance remained. Fear slowed the movement, insecurity whispered doubt, timing asked for patience, but love never turned its back, destiny never released its hold, it simply waited until peace could arrive with love instead of pain. The connection stayed alive in subtle ways, in sudden calm, in gentle warmth, in moments when your heart felt understood without explanation. My child, those were signs you were never alone in the waiting. This Christmas carries a deep reassurance. Not loud or dramatic, but steady and safe. Love moves toward you now with a quiet certainty that does not confuse your heart. It feels familiar because your soul has known it all along. It feels calm because it comes ready to stay, ready to honor you, ready to hold you without disappearing. Let this truth rest inside you fully, because nothing meant for you has been delayed without care, nothing meant for you has been lost. What unfolds now does so with patience learned in silence, with devotion grown in distance, and with a love that finally feels secure, gentle, and real. My beloved child, you are seen, you are cherished, you are protected, and as this moment completes itself within you, the long waiting softens into peace, the questions dissolve into trust, and your heart settles into the quiet knowing that love has always been finding its way to you, faithfully, tenderly, and with the intention to stay.